How's it going, guys? Richard K from Price Action Income, and welcome to this week's live trading session. If you're new to this channel or you like what we see here today, don't forget to subscribe if you haven't subscribed already. We're trying to have these sessions live every week on every Wednesday. We just this week trying a little bit of a different time slot to see if we can get more people to view what we're going to show you guys. And basically, before we get started, delve into the markets I covered before. Remember that everything I'm showing you here is just my own opinion, and the analysis that I use obviously reflects my trading technique and does not constitute any trading advice whatsoever. Alright, so generally we try to go on for about half an hour. Not too long of a session. If there's some time left, then you guys are more than welcome to blast some questions in the chat box there, and I have Nathan manning the chat box, and he'll in return relay that back to me. Okay, so where did we leave off yesterday? Where did we stop yesterday? We looked at the ES, we looked at the dollar index, we looked at gold, and we had a trade idea in natural gas. And today, for those stock traders out there, I think I've got a pretty good trade idea on JinkoSolar Holdings. So I'll be covering JinkoSolar Holding as soon as I've gone over these four markets that we looked at before, where we currently stand, how things have changed since last week. And then if we do have some time left, then definitely let me know if you want me to have a look at some of your charts. Just granted, if I do have the chart data for that. All right, guys, we looked at the ES last week. And with my members, we actually identified what could be a expanding triangle. Now, expanding triangles in Elliott wave terms also happen in 5 waves. And before they end, and obviously if it's an uptrend, you'll expect that price still goes higher. And the bigger scheme of things, for those of you that are new here today, let me just go back to a month. I've got these pitchforks on here for multiple years now already. And although I have a pitchfork down here, I doubled it up. And they've been working excessively well to act as support and resistance. And we're heading into an area where I think we might see a very strong resistance area coming in. And that currently lies around about the 4,485 handle. Now we're very close to that currently. And prior to, perhaps if price does get there, we got what I call expanding triangle. Now whether that plays out or not, or whether it's actually completed, that's the question now. Triangles happen in 5 waves. In this case, it's not symmetrical that contracts towards the end, actually expands. Some people call these megaphones or whatever the case might be. The question is now, where's the origin point of this? Do we have this is an A, B, C, D, E price completed as an E and price is going higher, or do we have this is the high with an A, B, a C perhaps completing D, then a D, and then a E, and then we see a market move up, whatever the case might be. For as long as we're stuck within this sort of ranging area, I would still consider the triangle still underway. That being said, tomorrow we have the non-farm payrolls coming out, so I'm sure a lot of people will be watching that, a lot of traders, to get a good sense of direction where some of your major markets might move towards. So I do think that price is just running sideways in many markets, and anticipating tomorrow's news event to see what happens when those numbers are released. We have the NFP numbers, like I said, tomorrow, and also your unemployment rate figures. So for me, you could still be bullish up until the 4481 level, perhaps a little bit higher. And this for me is a very long-term sort of level that price can still gravitate towards. Obviously, depends what's going to happen over here. I do think there is some room that we can still move lower. If that does happen, I would still say that we could be tracing out an E wave and then possibly take a reversal trade, or a reversal trade, but a trend continuation trade back to the upside again. Just keeping in the back of our minds that when price does reach this level, that you got to be careful. Dollar index, guys, if you watched my previous live sessions, just a quick recap here. Let me go back to weekly, show you the bigger picture here. I'm still viewing this as a potential A, B, and an incomplete C wave lower, meaning that I still think we can go lower, and what is currently happening is that we can still go a little bit higher to complete whatever this is, a correction. If we go to the daily time frame, let me just open that up a little bit. I've been saying before that this low failed to break this previous high, or sorry, this low in Feb 2018, and then it bounced higher. So I'm thinking that we have some sort of third wave low with a ABC or ABCX, ABC, i.e. WXY, that could still move higher. Now, we did draw this sort of channel in here last week. Price failed to break above it and then moved lower. It nearly touched the center-median line of this pitchfork. I'm not 100% sure that this is actually functioning that well, but since price failed here in May to break this low that was set in January earlier this year, and because price also failed recently to break this high, if we are still dealing with some sort of correction, I'm still thinking we have an ABCX, possibly an ABC completion, and then a much deeper move to the downside. That could happen probably weeks from now, months from now, whatever the case might be. But because we failed to break that high, failed to break this low over here, we could also be seeing what we call an A, B, C, D, E, a long, drawn-out, long-winded sort of correction that could move sideways and then have a breakout to the downside. So, long-term, I'm still bearish on the dollar index. Obviously, it's a good indication or indicator to watch what the price structure might suggest if you want any clues of what's happening with your majors like your Euro US dollar, Pound US dollar, Japanese yen, etc., US dollar, Swiss franc. So that's also a possibility, although this sharp move downwards is typical of what we call an X wave. So I'm still expecting, and I still think that this is just a corrective structure, W, X, Y. We hit sort of this level and break above this high in March this year, then watch out for a reversal. So are we done going down yet? Not 100% sure. I can't tell you that. If we do start breaking back into, I would say, by the 92, 73, 90, 75 level, I think we can go higher. But then watch out that we could get into a top and then see a much larger decline. If the dollar index is going to go higher, then gold most likely will go lower. Now, the thing is with gold, it's also been running sideways. Let me just open this chart up a little bit. And been trading within this range of this green bar that formed on the 29th of July. Now, whether the price is going to go higher, whether it's going to go lower, that I also can't tell you. But what I am looking at is a break below this lower blue median line, or a break above this upper center median, or just the center median line, to give me a short-term trend direction and possibly take shorter-term trades here. So, like I said, if the dollar index is still gonna go higher, and tomorrow might have an influence on that with the NFP numbers coming out, then we could potentially see a drop in gold much sooner than later. Watching this blue level over here, or this blue low median line, and even this, let me just drop in a horizontal ray there. A break below, obviously, this low over here at 1789.69, and I'll be looking for shorts to break this level here at 1750.74, and potentially even going lower to the center median line of this green pitchfork. So I'm hanging back here on gold. Want to see what happens tomorrow. Let the markets digest what's going to happen tomorrow. Maybe it's a non-event. We'll just have to wait and see. So I do still think dollar index got some upside potential. It might even not make a new high and start coming lower. But over the near term, I think the dollar index can still move higher. Well, we might have a knee-jerk reaction down to the downside, tests still the center median line, then go up. So that's why I'm saying we've got to really watch out what's going to happen tomorrow and how the markets absorb or react to tomorrow's news. Then we looked at natural gas a while back. I identified this area here where I believe a reversal could appear from. In my last two sessions, we identified a level. Let me just go down to a 4-hour chart for you. Let's open this up. And we had this rejection to the downside. I then said that if price would break below this little green zone that lies between 3.75 to 3.80, that I would consider a top to be in. But with my members as well, we've been saying all along that we might, as long as price stays above this zone, that we might still see price move to the upside, which is exactly what happened. We were also tracking around about, when was the beginning of this week, that we could potentially have an A, B, C, D, E. And now that actually completed on the 3rd of August, a few days ago, and price has subsequently gone up. So I'm measuring this sequence here as incomplete and potentially nearing a high. Now, we are overshooting these median lines that I've drawn before. I just want to go back to a weekly time frame and show you those median lines or those pitchforks that I've drawn. And as you can see, we still have a strong ranging up daily bar, a weekly bar. We had that last week where it came down from that zone and hit this upper median line. If for this week, for example, and later today, we also have the natural gas storage figures coming out. If we do get a weekly reversal, then I would see that as an indication that we've topped and potentially that we can see quite an aggressive or a far stretched move to the downside. So although price overshot and currently is overshooting these two different median lines taken from different anchor points, using different anchor points historically, one that's very long term and one that's short term. It is not uncommon to see price overshoot your median lines, but it is sort of in an area that if we do start seeing a reversal on a weekly, that I would start planning taking short-term trades. I'm still bearish natural gas, but rather than just trading the forecast or just trading these areas that I identify, I want to see weakness set in, and in some cases I'll be even very, very conservative and want to see that weakness set in this case on a weekly. So we don't really mess around too much with what this strong upward trend has been. That being said, even if we do get a move lower, we might even test these highs that were set in November 2020. Now that's quite a substantial drop, and whatever happens here might only be a correction. So I'm not saying we have a trend reversal that's going to take us to new lows for the year, but I'm definitely saying that I'm seeing this as a swing trading opportunity to the downside. All right, 15 minutes in, I'm going to stop chatting with you guys soon so you can blast me with some questions and maybe have some markets you want to look at. I'll be happy to do that for you. So today's new trade opportunity is in JinkoSolar Holdings Company Limited, ticker symbol JKS. Now this has actually been brought to my attention by someone that I know. It's been trading for quite a while. He loves his solar or renewable energy sort of type stocks, and asked me my opinion. I think somewhere in some newsletter he has read that there's some upside potential in this. Now, for those that do trade stocks, I think there is the potential for massive upside on this stock. So JinkoSolar, if we just look at a weekly time frame, stretching all the way back in, when was this? May sort of 2010. It's been around for quite a while. That was obviously the IPO, the initial public offering. Price went higher and then made what looks like a very, very clear symmetrical triangle. So from this high, A, B, C, D, E, and then price subsequently, and this was in September 28, last year, sorry, September 20, massive blast off to the upside, a very parabolical move. And this is what I would view in the bigger scheme of things, potentially the initial massive first wave of a much larger cycle that could potentially move way higher. Quite often you'll find when you look at triangles that you also get a retracement that will test the, depending on direction you're looking at, in this case in a bullish scenario, price pulled back and very nearly test the upper trend line of the symmetrical triangle. Just barely missed it, but it sort of came to where the high of this D wave was. For me, this is a clear A, B, C, D, E. So now the question is this the first move higher of a third impulsive wave? It could very well be. I'm actually going to give this a couple of days or maybe a week or so before I start planning getting into a trade here. I'm very interested in this. If you do decide to trade this earlier on, then potentially, you want to set your stop loss a bit wider, but be of the opinion, or so how can I say, just make sure that you might be in this for a long run. This took multiple years for this triangle to complete. It is a clear triangle. Maybe this was just an A, B, C, and now it's going lower, but I don't think so. I really do think that this could have been an ABC here, nearly tests this upper trend line, and we could be building going upwards now. I quite often, when I look at new trade ideas, stuff that I don't normally trade, just go sleep on it for a few days. Let price tell you what it wants to do. We have a huge rejection bar that formed last week, a pin bar over here. So I would say if we start going above these levels, we've got a good chance that we're going to start getting into an impulsive move to the upside. And generally, when you want to look at impulsive moves, you want to measure from your lows. In this case, I would take it from the IPO, where initial public offering price, to the first high that you presume is the first high, to the second low, second correction, which I presume is a 2, and then have a Fibonacci extension to the upside. Quite often you have impulsive waves. They can easily reach the 100%, 1.382 and 1.618% level. So that's a huge profit potential to the upside. And for this week, that is the new trade setup that I would like to share with you. Now, obviously, what I share with you guys on YouTube, that's just an ideas. So guys, please take it with a pinch of salt. But if you are interested in finding out how we manage these trades, how we get into it, then please, like I mentioned before, subscribe to this channel, and there'll also be a link below this video in the chat box if Nathan's dropped that for you, where you can check out our EPS forecast service, where I pretty much do all the heavy lifting, the market analysis, the price levels, very importantly also open trade management, trailing stops, and etc., all using market geometry. Okay, that's enough talk from me, guys. I'm sure there's quite a few guys watching here. Nathan is manning the chat box. If you guys want to know where some of the markets might be standing that you are interested in trading, then I'll definitely will have a look at that for you guys. I see Nathan is typing in here. See if we got any questions going. We already got one from Orson. Can you check QS, the CCXI? Orson, is that a stock? Just double confirm that for me, Orson. QS, QuantumScape Corporation. That's what I have on the stock side of thing. And then Tunde is asking for the pound US dollar, which we looked at last week. I'll definitely have a look at it again today. Mr. Orson, can you please let me know, is that on the American exchange, QS? Is it a stock, or are you looking at some index from a different country? Please let me know. So meanwhile, I'll look at the pound US dollar while you're typing that in for me. So last week we looked at some confirmation that the pound US dollar might have made an ABC already. And it basically made the spin bar on a weekly scale 2 weeks back. And that was where we had a confluence of this low 50% dash median line and obviously the center median line of this what could have been an ABC. Okay, Olsen just said it is a US stock. I'll have a look at that now for you. Here's my thing. On the currency side of things, Tunde, is that this obviously looks to me like, just from a technical perspective, and obviously you're using the market geometry and the confluence of different angled lines using different directions, that we've got what I call a bullish flank doji, i.e. a little doji. Previously, in this case, a bullish phase, we had a down bar, we had a pin bar or a doji looking bar, and then immediate reversal to the outside. So whatever happens tomorrow, I won't say it's just tomorrow, if the Fed starts speaking again, and my thinking that the dollar index can still go higher, I think we're still in a sticky situation here as to, did this complete an ABC? This did not take out, well, it did actually. This high in May took out this high in Feb by a fraction and then reversed lower. Was this sort of an A, B, C, or do we still see some space to the downside on the pound US dollar? For next week, I'll definitely, again, be watching what the dollar index is doing after tomorrow's news release. And that would probably set me up for, if you want to take shorter term trades, either to the upside or the downside. Just keep in mind, let me just get my horizontal ray out here, that upside resistance now lies at this upper median line, the one that slopes downward, the same one that stopped price here, and we failed to break through here. So we got resistance around about the 1.400 level. And just above that, again, we got that massive long-term center median line at 1.4063. Now, these angles will obviously change the longer price takes to get there. But, this could easily also just be, if the dollar index is going to go higher, just some sort of correction as well. So we got very limited, I would say, and obviously this is a weekly scale, depending on your trading style. Do you want to take massive swing trades or shorter term trades? I do think we got upside potential to these areas, but be careful if price does reach them, because I'm sure we'll have some sort of resistance set in here. And here, price has got a lot of work to do on a pound US dollar for it, in my opinion, to make new highs. I think actually that this could still be a bounce. And the only way I'm doing that or thinking that's because I'm looking at what the dollar index is doing. So obviously if the dollar strengthens, then across the board we might see weakness on the pound US dollar. Okay, awesome. You wanted to look at QS. Is it QuantumScape Corporation? Just double confirm that for me. CCXI. All right, CCXI. Chemocentryx on the NASDAQ. Okay. Wow. Am I on the right chart here? Awesome. CCXI. Yeah, CCXI, I've got this. Is that Chemocentryx Inc.? Hopefully not missing each other here, but let's go to a daily. Wow. Wow. Awesome. If you want to trade this, are you interested in what they call bottom fishing? Are you hoping that this is going to go higher? That is one insane drop there. Man, that's a massive sell-off there. So what would this chart do beforehand? Wow. Awesome. I wouldn't really know what to do on CCXI. I mean, it is near all-time lows. I mean, the lowest this thing ever went, according to my data, was $1.65-ish, $2 sort of handle. It's back into these highs. Massive incline and then a insane drop to the downside. Next earnings date, why is this grayed out, is today, 5th of August. Wow. Had this little gap here, just filled that gap. Also, it's not a stock I'm trading, but I'll be very scared going long, obviously, after an insane drop like this. That's just a massive decline. I mean, this thing lost its value within a few days this year alone. Unless you are bottom fishing, as we call it in stock trading, and trying to pick up something cheap, then you might want to sit, just buy some shares and hold this and see if it does go up. I don't know what this company is all about, why it has declined like that according to the fundamentals or whatever the case might be, but this will obviously take some more investigation over here. You will definitely need to have a look a little bit at the earnings sheets, reports, see if you want to bottom fish here and maybe go long. I mean, that's definitely up to you, but my goodness, I'm sure a lot of people would not have expected a drop like this and all of the shares value being wiped out in, I don't know, from March onwards up until this low in May. April, May, 2 months, it nearly lost all its value. How about QS then? Right, QS. QuantumScape. Whew. Are you bottom fishing again? If I have to quickly glance at a chart here, it looks like I only got data back to August. So pretty new. If this was an IPO, then it could have been a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And this looks very much like a 2017 decline that we've had in Bitcoin, although this obviously isn't Bitcoin. This could have been a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5A. Then we got a B, because quite often after 5 waves, although this is massively bearish, we could very well be seeing an A, B, perhaps a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This could be a 1. However you want to mark that. Does look like you could be dealing with an ending diagonal. Yeah, it's going to be difficult to figure out exactly if this was an A wave. Let me just get that marked up for you. So look, we have a 1, 2, possibly a 3, 4, 5. Then what you'll see, if this thing was ever going to go higher, that you'll see an ABC decline, although this is massive. Then you have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for possibly an A, possibly a B, and then possibly an ending diagonal C wave. Now, you'll have to see C waves or ending diagonals happen in 3 waves. So this could be 1, 2. This could be a 1. Wow. There's many interpretations, guys. Many interpretations. This could be 1. Sorry. Let's get rid of. Let me just make that smaller for you. 2, 3, 4, 5. Let me just get my miner tool out here. Make that black. this one already broke that low here. And that could complete your C wave. And if you were to mark it, and ideally you would do this, but it looks like we could be doing that. Oof, very difficult to say. If I was you, I would wait for a break of this trend line here. This does look like it's contracting downwards, downwards, downwards. If we get a break above, which is currently lying around 31.56 level, we'll take a chance lower down. Difficult to say. I mean, it's always really weird when you see good potential performance like this. Like that previous CCXI stock that you showed me, and then it gets annihilated like this. So A, B could be a contracting, ending diagonal, and then wait for a breakout to the upside. Okay, then we got Sibusiso asking me to have a look at the US 30. And guys, it will be the last one for today. I have to also shoot home. And what is this US 30 trade on? Sibusiso. Let's have a look. There we go. No worries, Orson, you're welcome, but Dow Jones average. So the same sort of idea what I have on the ES. I think chart-wise or pattern-wise, they all look very similar. We are approaching, in my opinion, a very strong top. I'll be watching the ES. They're all going to follow suit. If the ES or the Dow Jones tops, I've just got good, I can say, market geometry drawn on my ES chart at the moment. This insane bullish run here has got to, at some stage, reset a little bit. This is unhealthy, in my opinion. It can't just go up forever. And like I said, if we look at the ES, we are approaching this very long term, and those pitchforks were drawn back from 2009, actually using anchor points before that, 2007, 2009, and from there. You know, we could very well still correct, run sideways, but this insane move either up in the Dow Jones index, in my opinion, is also nearing an end. If you want me to, next session that we'll do next week, I can definitely write this down, and I'll perform some proper market geometry on this, just to show you that we got a lot of similarity in how these indices behave. So, in my opinion, be careful. We're also running into a high here. Okay, guys, I think that is it for today. Thanks for the interaction and all of the charts you've asked me to have a look at. I hope you guys are enjoying this session. Please, if you're new here, please don't forget to subscribe, hit the like button there. I'll be back next week, take it up from where we left off again. If there's some other markets you want me to look at, then please do. I'll also include the Dow Jones Industrial Average for you, and also do some market geometry on there just for you, Sibusiso. I haven't had it prepared, but it's very similar as to what's happening on the ES, in my opinion. And yeah, so again, thanks very much for attending today's session, and I'll be back again next week, and I hope to see you all back then. Thanks very much for watching. Until next time, goodbye.